So I have a variety of different teas, and then this one is a pennyroyal, which in Portuguese we call puege, and this was dried and grown here in my parents' backyard. And then I also have mint, all dried up from my backyard and from my parents' backyard. And then I have little rosebuds, because that's a nice addition to my teas as well. And I just buy them from a Chinese medicinal person. Yeah, so I have a whole bunch of different teas. I have mint, I have puege, pennyroyal, and I also have lemon balm. I have, what is the other one? Lemon verbena. I was just trying to think, I know it in Portuguese, but I was just trying to figure out what is it in English. They call it Maria Luisa in Portuguese, but my dad also grows that here, so we have those seeds. And then, yeah, just some more of the puege here in powder form. And I'll show you the difference. So, if it's not that ground down, it looks like this. So, in larger pieces. Hopefully it focuses. Larger pieces. The smell is incredible. It's just amazing. Like, I can't describe to you how amazing this stuff is. I grew up with this, and it's just such an important part of our background, our culture, and I have introduced it to a lot of people and they love it. You know, anytime we had like a tummy ache growing up, not feeling well, my mom would give us this tea, and like honestly we'd feel like amazing right after. It's like magic. So anyway, and then this is just ground up a little bit more. That's why I have this spoon here, just to help out. These little spoons are great for a lot of different things. I just got them on Amazon. So as far as tea bags, there are different sizes. I opted for one that was a little bit bigger, just because I like my tea bags pretty full. There are smaller than this and maybe even bigger, I don't know. I wouldn't go bigger than this though, just because when it's full, like it gets really big. But yeah, so, and they're unbleached, that's really important. And then you can throw them into your organic bin, so another important thing for me. And that's why I chose those ones. And again, they're available on Amazon, very easy to find. So I have these little labels. You can buy any labels at the dollar store. There's much prettier ones. I actually have nicer ones, but I've been trying to use up these. And you just write down what it is that you are putting in the jar, because trust me, you're going to forget. It's in here. You're not going to know what the heck you put in it. And that way you've got it already labeled. I have cute ones from Amazon that have like a tie and it's like a little card. So you can put like what, you know, if you're giving it as a gift, what is the tea good for? That kind of thing. I just bought those. That's kind of neat. But really, you could just write it on the paper too if you're giving it to somebody, or just make sure you have at least it labeled, and that way they know what's in it and they could look it up. So yeah, all teas that were dried in the backyard and then now will be put into these tea bags. I just like having them all year, and then, you know, it's better than having all the different jars. So if you want to do a blend, you don't have to take a little bit of this and a little bit of that and mix it together. You already have it in your tea bag ready to go. So yeah, let's make some tea bags for the winter. I am just going to mention, this is probably the cheapest old school dehydrator that is around. They probably don't even make them anymore. I don't know. It's really ancient. I've had one before, but it ended up breaking. I overheated it. This is the same one. Sometimes you can find them at Value Village, but it's very simple, very basic, very cheap, and it does the job. So it dries everything really nicely, and I've never had an issue with it. For herbs especially, this is great. I dry everything for my smudging as well. And yeah, it has like lots of trays. And I leave some space in between them just to get the airflow going a little bit better. And that's pretty much it. Maybe one day I'll upgrade, but right now this is good enough. So I think I'm going to do a stinging nettle mix. I'm going to put some of that in here. It's going to make a bit of a mess all over the table, but it's going to be worth it. So there's stinging nettle, and then I'm going to mix some mint with it. And I left the leaves pretty big on my stinging nettle, just because I know that I'm going to break it down when I put it in here anyway. So you don't want to overfill it. This one can take a little bit more, but when you overfill it, it will rip because they're quite thin. And again, they're unbleached and they're natural. So on this little tag, you can either do this, which is what I'm going to do. Just close it off just so that you have something to hang on to. You can also add any little tag. They have a ton at the dollar store, and you can put in what it is. Yeah, totally up to you, but it's really not that complicated. Sometimes I tie this part down here, so on the next one I'll just show you that one. But really, it's not going to open up. Like, it's not. Once you squeeze it tight, it's going to be fine. And I've made these before on the channel. Last Vlogmas, I did do it because I made a whole bunch. And it lasted me through the whole winter, and like we were having it. It was wonderful. But I'll show you guys again. Okay, so some of the stinging nettle. Crush it down. Some of the mint. Just make sure your whole area and workspace is nice and clean. Your hands are nice and clean because you don't want to contaminate your teas. Okay, so it's nice and full. I'm going to drawstring it closed, and then for extra measure, if you want, you could just tie it, and then I just do that little simple knot on the end, just so that it's easier to pull out of your containers after. And that's pretty much it. Very simple, very easy, and these are going to last. So I know some people say, well, you know, you should put something in it to draw the moisture out. Those little packets inside. To be honest, I've never done that, and they've been fine. I think if you're storing for more, you know, time, I guess. I drink it all through the winter and into the spring. It seems to be fine. I never have any issues with mold. I never have any issues with anything going bad. I put it in a jar, airtight, and it's been fine. But if you are storing for longer, then you might want to consider doing that. And that way it draws out any extra moisture that might be left in the jar. And they're little packets that you can find from Amazon as well. I know somebody that buys them from Amazon, and you can definitely do that. But like I said, I've never done it and haven't really had an issue. So you can do it. I remember once I put them in, but it was actually the wrong packets. So be careful and do your research about which ones it is, because I didn't buy, I guess, the right ones. Yeah, there was really no point in me putting them in, to be honest. So my stinging nettle did not grow the best this year, and it actually came in really late, so it's better to harvest it before the summer. Before that real summer heat comes, you want to harvest all of it so that it can be at its highest potential, so highest potency. It will still be healthy and beneficial to you anytime, don't get me wrong, but it is at its highest before the summer, before that heat gets to it. So this year it came late. So it was literally the beginning of summer or around summertime when I harvested it. because I had no choice because it came in late. So I don't know if it's going to be as strong, but I still harvested it. I'm assuming it'll be fine just because Mother Nature didn't want it to come earlier. Things are changing, I suppose. But typically you would harvest it in the spring before the summertime. But sometimes Mother Nature tells you different. This year was one of those years, so I just roll with it and harvested when it was the right time for this year. So that's what I did. So I typically do the same mixture for a while until I can fill up a large mason jar. And then I label that, and then I move on to another blend just so that I don't confuse myself, and I end up mixing them up. So that's what I'm going to do, just doing the mint and the stinging nettle for now. I do, oh, this one is the Maria Louisa, really nice. I do like stinging nettle and the lemon verbena. That's a nice mix as well, so I might do some of those as well next because that mix is very, very nice. And then, yeah, slowly get all my tea bags done. And then look for large mason jars. Sometimes if I don't have enough large mason jars, I'll just put it in a Ziploc until I do have an empty one. And I keep, sorry, I keep old pasta jars because they're really good for this too sometimes. And that way if I'm in a jam, I could just use that for now. But yeah, this is what the leaf looks like. Really big, eh? And if you touch it before it's dried up, you will get a rash. So just be wary and wear gloves when you're harvesting. I also have a video on that. I'll try to link it. But once it's dry, it's fine. You can touch it. It's no big deal. Or maybe my hands are just immune to it now. But yeah. So this one is empty. We've already used it all. The mint and pennyroyal, the puige. So I'm going to refill this one when I do that mix. And then this one is the lemon and, lemon verbena and the mint, which is a really nice mix as well. So I'll do some of that and fill up this jar and put these 2 tea bags on the top so they can be used first. But yeah, this is what I mean. They're airtight. I put them in just a big mason jar. Here's an example of if I have like a jelly jar, pasta jar that is of good quality, I will always keep it because these jars can be used for so many different things. Like, look at these. You know, I put this stuff in, and my mom does, and then when we need it, we have it and it's already in a jar. And then, yeah, we always need the big ones. So this is a great one. It's a jam jar, and I love when we get this jam because I always keep the jars and they work really nice. So I'm going to use that. And then, yeah, just keep making my tea. This is going to be a morning full of tea making for me on a day off. So this is the stinging nettle and the mint. And I'm just going to pop it on here just because if I put on the lid, I can't see it through my cupboard. So I like to put it right on the jar. And then I reuse the same jar, or I'll just wash it off and take off the label and then put a new label in. But yeah, this is very simple, very easy. Any jar will do, but just make sure it has a really, really good seal and you're keeping it very, very airtight. So, just gonna pop these guys in. And you can squish them down quite a bit as you make them. And yeah. It fills up rather quickly. You want to just make sure all the ends are pretty full. Sometimes you have to just mix it up a little bit more. So stinging nettle has a very mild taste to it. So I like to mix it with something that's a little bit stronger in flavor, like mint. The next one I'm going to do is quij and mint, so pennyroyal and mint. And then here is the pennyroyal, and here is the dried mint. So this is going to be the next mix.
We let go of disguise. And now there's something in the air and a sparkly shimmer on our skin, restoring everything within. Oh, dreamy, breezy, we go
So I just want to take a minute to talk about the pennyroyal plant. So some people are really scared of pennyroyal because it can be very toxic, like I had mentioned earlier, if you ingest the oil. It is really, really strong, and if you look up the historical aspects of pennyroyal, it is in the mint family, but it is a different type of mint and it's a lot stronger. I'm going to strongly recommend that you just have it as a tea if you can get your hands on it, which it is very difficult to do so. But you can actually use the oil for other things, so just don't ingest it. It is a really amazing way of keeping pests out of your house. You can use it in your windows, you can use it in your sliding doors, whatever doors that you have leading into your home, because insects do not like this plant at all. They will not go near it. So it is a great way of using the oil in that aspect. You can also diffuse it and it leaves a really lovely and calming smell in your home. And that is very, very safe. So experts do use it for tinctures, but again, they have studied the plants. They know how to work with it. So it's a little different. But for the everyday person, I would just have it as a tea. You can harvest it and use it as a tea, no problem. Just don't consume a ton of it. I wouldn't consume a ton of any kind of tea, to be honest. So just keep that in mind. And also, obviously, if you are pregnant, you want to stay away from this tea completely. You want to do your research actually on a lot of different teas if you are pregnant, because there are a lot of teas that can cause a lot of harm during pregnancy. So, and I would say stinging nettle is another one of those things that I would stay away from if I was pregnant as well. You can have it whenever, later on down the road, it's not a big deal. But during that period when you're pregnant, just stay away from, certain teas. Be very mindful and do your research. When I was pregnant, I didn't have these teas, and then I went back to it afterward. So yeah, just, and again, don't overdo it on any tea. Sometimes people go nuts and have a ton of these things and then something terrible happens. Too much of anything is not good in general, period. So just, yeah, something to be mindful of. But I think pennyroyal gets a bad rap because of the situations where people use the oil or people overdid it. And, it shouldn't have this kind of reputation because it has so many benefits and it is perfectly safe. And like I said, I've been using it with my family, and down the road, we'll continue to use it. And my ancestors used it and we were perfectly fine. So sometimes people get freaked out and, teas get labeled as, having negative side effects, but really use your caution and use your brain, basically, is what I'm saying. A lot of these people that had these terrible things happen to them didn't use it in the way that they were supposed to. So either they didn't have the knowledge base or they thought it would be fine. I'm not sure. But again, don't be scared of pennyroyal. It has amazing benefits. Don't be scared of many teas. Just do your research, and depending on what your health ailments are and what your health background is, you just want to be mindful of what you can and cannot have. But yeah, so that is just my little disclaimer here, because I wanted to note that pennyroyal is a little different in comparison to other types of teas. So this tea is the crossbreed between mint and pineapple. So it's a pineapple mint, and I just planted it, so I didn't get to harvest a ton, but this is what I got. I got a couple trays worth, which is pretty good considering it was the first year, and I did use it in fresh form as well. So yeah, I'm gonna try this out and make some teas with it for the first time, and then also add in the pennyroyal as well, a little bit of pennyroyal and a little bit of the pineapple mint, and I think that will be really nice. Yeah, just trying to do different combinations and see what we like better. So I decided to add some lavender instead of the rose, just because I feel like it'll work better with this. This lavender is actually from the backyard as well, so I used it for a bunch of different things, but I'm also using it for my teas. So I took out my jar of my lavender to add into these teas as well, and I think that this blend will work out really nicely. So I also decided to do lemon balm and stinging nettle, and I'm also adding some of the rose buds in this mixture. So yeah, I ended up making quite a few different blends. I still had a little bit of my stinging nettle left to use up, so this is the blend that I decided to make. So guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for having a cozy winter day off with me, making some lovely teas. I hope that you found this video useful in some way, and it encourages you to maybe grow even a little pot of mint, and then you can dry it up and use it for winter as well. Even in small spaces, I live in an urban space, I'm able to grow all these teas, and I just dry them out really simply. It's a really good way of saving money as well, because teas have been so expensive now when you're buying organic teas. So in this way, you can just save money and make it at home. So I hope that it encourages you. Even if you have a small space, you can do it too. If I can do it, so can you. And these are just really simple blends that are my favorite personally, but we can create all kinds of different blends depending on what you want to grow and where you live. So thanks so much for being here this week, guys. I really appreciate the love and the support on the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video. Health, joy, and positive vibes to each and every one of you.